Hey everybody, welcome to Surface Level, creating a community where Black and queer folks are fearless in thought and curious at heart. I'm one of your hosts, Tony, and today, Jordan, Damon, and I are discussing how gays and lesbians get judged by two different sets of rules. How does the societal double standard create tension between gays and lesbians? How do we feel about the heteros using queer likeness for exposure? This is Gayfishing. All right now.
I forgot that was the name of the episode.
Welcome. Yeah, a little gay fishing. That's a new term. It's new into the zeitgeist.
Yes, put it out there.
If you will, something that I've never heard of. But I know when I hear it and when we talk about it, it makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. But this episode, we're going to be talking about the double standards between gays and lesbians, and then also a little bit of the heteros. We're going to throw them in there too, because they're always part of it. I think
y'all can get it too.
They're the real villains in this movie.
Buy a heterophobic t-shirt on the Surface Level shop.
Yes, surfacelevelpodcast.com.
Heterophobic is the name. And this is the game. So we're going to start with a remix on the game of Who'd You Rather. Now, I know you some nasty hoes, and your mind automatically goes to, when you think of who you'd rather, you think about what? Who you'd rather do, who you'd rather have sex with.
Pray with.
Who you'd rather pray with? Okay. We're going to see about that. We're going to see about that.
That's where your mind went?
Because I didn't know you to be a praying woman.
Because you don't know Jesus.
So let's start with this. There's going to be a list of situations, and there's going to be a lesbian and a gay person that you guys will have to choose from.
Okay.
And you just choose who you'd rather in the scenario.
Just
who you'd rather. So let's start it out. Let's give you guys a test run. This is the real run, but it's a test run. Who would you let file your taxes? Robin Roberts or Don Lemon?
Robin Roberts.
Probably Don Lemon.
Okay. For me, I'm gonna say Robin Roberts. I don't know, something about her energy.
Screws taxes.
She's a morning girl versus Don. He's a late night girl.
Feels trustworthy.
Feels trustworthy. Okay. So who would you rather go to a rave with? Raven Simone. Naturally. Or Cakes the Killer.
Cakes.
Definitely Cakes.
Well, seeing as how I've been to a rave with Cakes, I would say him, but the girls don't know. Raven Simone is a lot of fun. I've seen her at Everyday People. Like, she behind the scenes, she's a girl's girl.
And you are a girl.
And I'm a girl.
Which girl?
Which girl is Raven?
No, she's a girl's girl, but like what girl? Like
she's a girl's girl in the sense of like she's a girl's girl with a U, because she knows how to have a good time.
Got it.
You can like have a good time and party with her, and none knew the wiser.
It's like girl with a U and I.
Yeah, y'all remember that video where she's just laughing like.
Yes, she eating crab legs.
Love that. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh, really?
It's like actually
in my head, she was
very regular. She is cracking up laughing.
The fuck up.
I think it has something to do with Keely.
I think so.
Because Keely was still talking about Cheetah Girls.
She was reading the girls.
And Raven turned on her camera and laughed for 30 seconds straight.
It was so funny. So
Hilarious.
Who would you rather call if you were to get arrested? DeBrat or Juicy Smollett? Oh, everybody's silent now. Oh, no, now the girls don't. Now the girls can't speak. You know what?
I'm definitely calling the brat that.
You calling the brat because she ain't she good with a hammer? She put something.
I don't know
She smashed somebody's head.
Like I have to pick the brat.
I feel like I have to pick the brat, but Juicy is not in jail, so maybe we should be calling her.
Y'all are not calling.
When Juicy gets his story together, it was good. It was a good story until it was found out you can't have loopholes.
All right, bro, this is what we're going to say. First of all, no. I'm tapping out.
Moving on, who would be the perfect person to be your perfect wingman or woman for a night out on the town? Lena Waithe or Jeremy, excuse me?
Your wing folks.
Your wing folks. Who would be the perfect wing folk? Okay. for a night out on the town? Lena Waithe or Jeremy Pope?
Lena fucking Waithe.
Lena Waithe
Pulls
for
the girls.
2 reasons. Right, because she's very smooth.
Yeah.
Okay, it's giving game.
Oh, absolutely.
And for some reason, I just feel like Jeremy Pope just might like be my wingman and then end up with the person that he was supposed to be winging for. Because they're just like, oh, wait, why Jordan if I could just go to Jeremy?
So competition.
Same.
Well, you know what? There's competition on both sides. But the
true.
competition
That's
on the side
true.
of Lena Waithe, like, because the boys want her too.
She gonna snatch,
Like,
snatch
get into
you
it.
bottoms
However, I feel like she would. she would attract so many folks
Yes.
that it's just given like, okay, now it's
Given extra smooth. You know that Aaliyah song?
even Steven.
Mm-hmm.
It's given that.
Okay, so who would you let represent you in a court of law? Niecy Nash or Andre Leon Talley?
Niecy Nash.
Yes.
Because Andre Child, he don't be having his.
You another one that ain't got his story together?
It's just, he be having some issues with things and no. Niecy. Always trust black women to get you through the storm.
Always trust black women. Never doubt them.
Listen, Niecy Nash will get you together, curse you out,
Yes.
lay down the law, giving very Reno,
Absolutely.
911.
Well, you know what? Niecy Nash and Andre Leon Talley are both over the top. But when it comes to who's going to, seal the deal and get the job done, I'm going to go with Niecy Nash. I love her in Claws, the show. If you haven't watched it, amazing show. But she is the boss. Who would you rather have as your plus one to the family reunion? Queen Latifah or Billy Porter?
Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah.
Billy Porter from me, child.
Hollering at your daddy.
I want to listen. I already don't want to go to the family reunion, so Billy Porter's going to come with me and give the shenanigans,
Big
the stunts,
Tony!
the shows. Like, I would love the pomp and circumstance that comes with him, and I would have so much more fun because I already don't want to be there.
Well, my family is a big living single family.
Oh, good.
Like, I feel like they watched all of
You gonna
Queen
perform
Latifah's
the-
movies.
Well,
You
but,
should perform the choreography
but when I
from
go
the
to the
intro.
reunion, it's not about the family at that moment. It's about what's gonna get me through this.
What about?
So
that's what it's given.
that's what it's given. Who would you rather show up to the industry function with? Kalani or Kaylani, depending on how you know the girls. Or Lil Nas X.
Lil Nas X. Because he's surrounded by like 30 half-naked boys that are all dancers. Why would I not want to go to that party?
Oh, I know that's right. You're looking for an after party.
Girl.
Child.
She wants sex party after the
Oh,
industry
please.
party.
You bitches are so fucking fake.
Sex party after the industry
Meanwhile,
party.
this the main bitch over here that's trying to. You know what? Don't get me calling you out.
Don't call me out.
You already called. That's too late.
No, I
baby.
was going to pick Kalani.
I know you were.
Yeah, I love Kalani. Not that I don't love Lil Nas X, but like
I-
Kalani has a special place in my heart. When You Should Be Here came out, that mixtape. Was it a mixtape or an actual album?
I don't know what
I
they
don't
got
know,
to do.
the
So
girl-
she doesn't have a special place in your heart. Got
Right.
it.
I don't know what they got to do going to a party.
Last one. Who would
I
you
love
rather
her.
go to a Broadway play with? And it's no shade. Wanda Sykes or Todrick Hall?
Wanda Sykes.
Oh.
Because she's fucking hilarious.
But you're not talking during the play. So.
And she would be talking during the play.
Right.
You
Right.
know, Todrick, I don't know. She questionable.
We went,
Anybody
we-
does that latch to Taylor Swift for me, I'm like, I probably don't want to go nowhere with you.
I get strange behavior. Jordan.
I would definitely be giving a Wanda Sykes moment at
Yeah.
the at the play.
At the play. I think, you know what? Wanda Sykes would definitely give you what you need. And then also, it's the before and after for me. Because we're going to do something fun afterwards. I don't know what we're going to get into, but I just feel like she's probably
Something really
a
cool.
hoot. It's the
Right.
time of my
It's
life I didn't
something
know I
really
needed
cool.
to have.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like, we about to go hang out with Jennifer Lewis. It's gonna be some shit like that.
Then
I'd be like,
I would lose my mind. Lose my mind.
I'm Jennifer Motherfucking Lewis.
Jennifer motherfucking Lewis. Okay.
all right. That was funny. Child, she's scary. So this episode, we wanted to kind of go into the divide between how society accepts queer love and queer sexuality amongst men or people that present as male and women. It was funny. We were thinking about one of like our great shows of our time for like, I guess the millennials. Yeah, those people our age. Insecure.
Oh, yeah.
And on Insecure, there was an episode where Molly was involved or dating a guy that at some point had had an experience with another man. And even though I think she had had some experience with a woman in her life, she could not see past this for him.
Right.
So why do you think this kind of girl on girl experience is like, everybody's fine with it, that's cool, not a big deal, versus like, child, if boys suck a little dick, people got an issue with it? Jordan?
I honestly, I think that it's very explicitly taught to young boys that a part of being a man is never showing
Weakness?
well, yes, but like you can't ever have any level of intimacy. I'm not even talking about sex.
Okay.
You can't have any level of intimacy with another man. Like, even when we're growing up, right? Like, you're like the older men in your family may kiss the nieces and nephews or the nieces, but then you come around, you have to get a dap. And it's like, whatever, like you don't even think about it at this point. You're just like, okay, you're conditioned to it at that point. But I think that in this country, at least, like, it is taught that the fabric of being a man is that you interact with other men in a very specific way.
Yeah.
And I don't think that women are taught to have that same boundary with other women since from growing up. And, you know, I just think that I was reading this this research study that was published in 2019. It was done by some scientists from NYU, and they surveyed 25 or 23 countries, and they found that in every single country, people disliked gay men more than lesbian women. And I think it just, people are just they don't like it. And I think that even when you're growing up, there's more acceptance for like tom girls, right? There's a name for it. Like, oh, she's just a tom girl, she loves basketball, so what, let her do her thing. And then you have the guy over here who wants to be a figure skater, and it's just like, oh no, get the skates off of his feet now. He's going to fucking, like, he's going down the wrong path. And that sort of just like carries people through their adult life, and they just go on just believing that women are allowed to be more freely intimate with other women and a little bit more experimental with their expression. And men sort of have to be a little bit more narrow in the way that they express their masculinity.
Well, I mean, Jordan, you're giving us very mask for masks today.
Unintentionally.
Unintentionally.
Yeah, I didn't
unintentionally.
even,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about
You did not plan for that.
this came together like
But
20 minutes
It's
before.
giving me, yes, your expression today is very, you know, it's giving me mask. But make it.
Why did she just purr?
I don't know. I wanted to fem it up. I felt like it was necessary.
But I mean, my response to that is that this is a man's world. And
Fuck the patriarchy.
you know, it continues to be a man's world, and we play by the man's rules. And however, there is a fetishization of girl on girl action, which I think benefits the lesbian community because, you know, I don't know that the white man is thinking that deeply into, you know, what it means to be a lesbian, and, you know, lesbians that have an expression that's more masculine versus feminine. I think they're just like turned on by the idea of two women getting it on. And now going back to the Insecure example, like, I don't know why for some black women that they think it's okay for them to have their sexual proclivities and experiences and their history with other women, but that it's not okay for a black man to have the same and have their exploration, but in their curiosities, but still be a straight man after they figured out that wasn't for them, or whatever the case may be.
Well, I think it's because they all make the assumption that if a guy had a previous experience with a man, that he will go back to that.
Mhm.
Like they all make that assumption where it's just like, oh, you did that before, so
Right.
you obviously want to do it again.
Or
And
or there's this thing that I've heard people say like, "Oh, I can't do for you what he did," when physically thinking about parts men don't have. But I'm also like, you're not thinking about sexuality broad enough.
mm-hmm,
I'm just
right.
like, you.
You don't have the power
No, but
to do that.
what I would say is that like it's a thing with like anal play and straight people where
Yeah.
like they feel like it's only a thing that men do. Where I'm just like, you have a whole wife that
Oh,
may peg you. That's y'all are into that, but like people don't
Abso-fucking-lutely.
embrace that type of idea. So then they feel like if you were with a man and you did this thing, then that's the thing you can only get there. Where it's just like maybe you should be a little more open minded about sexuality.
Right. And, and the last thing that I want to say on the topic of girl on girl action, I do wonder, because the question becomes for me that do we think that the case is true when it comes to the Black community and Black moms, that they are so accepting or widely accepting of girl on girl action versus guy on guy action, like their little Black daughter versus their little Black son? I think it's kind of even Steven. If for me, my experience, what I've experienced with people that I know in the Black community that are queer, that come out as lesbian or gay, to their Black moms, I don't know that Black moms are, so hunky dory about either at first. It's still a shell shock for them initially, in my opinion. But yeah.
Cool. Speaking broader in society among queer people, do you think that that difference of acceptance, that dichotomy, creates tension between gay and lesbian communities? Tony?
Yes. I think it pits us against one another. When the focus should really be on who the real villain is. We talk about that a lot. Who the real villain is in the situation, which for me, it's the folks who make the rules in society, which tend to happen to be for the most part, white men that are that are making the rules, and those are the rules that society deems as like, oh, this is what we're gonna go by. But I think when we see each other in the other side get away with certain things, depending on which side you're on, you're like, if that were us, we would never be able to get away with that. So it becomes a us versus them mentality that I think is very dangerous, because again, it's like we shouldn't be fighting. It's infighting that we shouldn't be doing. But you feed into that. I don't know why. It's just like that competition mindset. And I think that society perpetuates stereotypes. And also perpetuates, again, those rules that I mentioned earlier that the white man creates, that we all abide by, and what is deemed socially acceptable. So, for example, like when we see Madonna and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera kissing on stage, that's glorified. But when we see Tiana Taylor, we see Normani, we see Normani with Cardi B, and that is also glorified. But when you see Lil Nas X kissing on stage and doing whatever, it's villainized.
Fuck them kids.
And that for me is that's listen, that's the heterosexual agenda. So
Stop forcing that down our throats.
right.
I think it's less about tension and more about us continuing to not see the shared experience that we have. I think we talked about this a lot on the episode we had with Fran a couple of seasons ago. No Lesbians Allowed, where we were saying, excuse me, we think about the queer, like lesbian, the queer women's experience is like everybody's married and so on and so forth. And then queer men are the sexual deviants who are all just raging. And like this too being accepted or being viewed as acceptable by outside communities is another thing where we see ourselves as different. Instead of saying like, hey, we also had an experience of having to come out, or having an experience where we are living in a relationship that is not heteronormative. And we've are fighting for the same rights to be able to marry or to be able to do whatever we want to do. And I think it's just another thing that's more divisive, and it doesn't help us see the commonalities that we have, because there is strength in numbers as far as minorities. There's strength in people getting into collective experience that we're not seeing. When last time, I don't remember last time I saw a lesbian. Where are they at?
You're looking at one.
Okay.
She's a real fish.
All right now. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I personally don't feel any negative way towards the lesbian community for how the double
No, wait,
standard.
actually, you're looking at one.
Wait, what?
You're a lesbian.
I'm a Oh, okay. What brought that on?
The bandana.
Oh my goodness!
Stop.
You don't like my bandana?
I love
Stop.
it.
Moving on.
I love it.
We're getting back on topic.
You know what? Y'all been picking on me all
Oh,
day.
here she go.
It's giving.
Cry me a river.
Cry me. No, I personally don't care. Like, I think, like, if I love that lesbian women can get away with being sort of like this object of desire together. I wish that shit would happen for us someday.
She said, I want to be desired.
I would like for some of that to rub off on us. So it doesn't create a divide for me. I don't feel any jealousy towards it. Obviously, women have to deal with a completely different set of disadvantages and struggles that cisgender men will never understand. Even gay men, even gay black men won't understand. So for me, it doesn't create any tension. I think that, exploit it. If people feel like, okay, like I can get into this because I feel like this is something that I like can fantasize about or something like that, so I'm willing to accept it more, great. Like we can work on that in the long term, but right now I need you to actually be okay with this happening because this is what's going to happen. And I think that we're going to get to a place where, male on male intimacy in the public eye is, just sort of okay.
We're getting there.
Because
we're on our way.
I'm so sick of the narrative that like, oh, like you shouldn't be doing this on a family program and the kids are watching. It's just like,
how you think the kids got here?
We don't shield the kids from any other type of intimacy. Well, I'm not going to say any other type of intimacy, but we don't shield them from girl on girl or guy on girl intimacy. And also, you don't really have to have a conversation with your kids. Like, allow these things to just be what they are. Like, you don't have to steer your kids in a certain direction. Like, your kids will know what they know because they'll feel it. And I think that we'll get there. I think that, the world, because we're becoming more social and because people are able to sort of show their lives and we're not relying completely on these big media companies to sort of tell us what the way of life is. Social media can tell us, which is more authentic. So now I feel like we have more exposure into different lifestyles. I think that it's going to happen soon. So I ain't hating, have your moment. I hope the moment becomes more prosperous and then we can join in and then everybody can just be kissing whoever they want to.
Y'all already joined in.
And mind your damn business.
That photo of you and Tony making love on
Oh
Instagram.
my God, that was a sickening photo.
We're joining in. And I think
being very intimate.
It's leading into what I think we're getting ready to talk about in a moment. Is that like when you see these women, it's girl on girl action, but it's not lesbian because those girls on girls that we're seeing aren't lesbian. They're just girls that are having fun, that are capitalizing on the moment.
That part. That part. And honestly, that's an amazing segue into the next question, because I want to know what you guys think about social media influencers or people who are just like public people who are leaning into gayfishing. So the title of this episode is Gayfishing. But like the idea that like you aren't a part of the queer community, but you're leaning into that for your public profile because you understand that there's an opportunity there and there's an audience there. And how do you feel about people who are outside of the community sort of like benefiting from the community. Tony?
The nerve.
The gall.
The audacity. It's the audacity for me. Because I don't like it. And I'm going to start there. I don't like it because you want to use our lifestyle and the queer space for your own popularity. And when it comes to like standing up for the community, then you want to go back into your little corner. And then you want to hide. Like, it feels nasty. It feels icky. And I don't, it's just something about it just doesn't make me feel good. But also, I think that when it comes to like a lot of the, what you see on TikTok, like the boy on boy action and like.
Where the kickbacks at?
Yeah. They like the boys are, I think that all of that stuff that's going on TikTok when you see like boys doing like gay shit, I feel like they're hiding in plain sight because they ain't all straight, but they're using the queer space to get their popularity. And I think also maybe I'm just an old bitch because
no matter what it is, you are an old bitch.
I might just be an old bitch and not used to what Gen Z is giving, because let me tell you about something I read recently.
Oh, Jesus.
I forgot about the segment.
Yes, put those glasses on, baby. Put those glasses
This is
on.
very important. Very important. So the New York Times has an article.
A source.
And it's called
The New York
Everyone is
Times.
Gay on TikTok.
Ooh.
And it talks about how like a decade ago, intimacy between men was considered social suicide. But Gen Z is growing up in a time in which same-sex marriage was never even illegal. So they don't even know about those times. And it's being... and also being called gay is not the insult that it once was. When we grew up, you're gay. That's what people... yeah. But that's what people ran to. It's like,
I'm
you're
going
gay.
home.
You're gay.
Never coming back to school.
But the thing that I've noticed about these influencers, when in this article, and it's like going into depth, I think you should read it. It's actually a really good read. A lot of those influencers are the white privileged young gay boys. I don't see a lot of black young gay boys doing the same thing because we still got a long way to go in our community. But it just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel.
No way. If you are listening to this, I cannot express how much you need to watch this as well, because when
We're available
Tony,
on YouTube at Surface Level Podcast.
when Tony pulls out this note card and these glasses,
I mean,
that come out of
business.
thin air,
She turns into a whole different woman.
it turns.
It's giving
It's that
business.
person in the meeting that has the analytics, and they're just like, well, the projections.
That's what it's giving. Get down to business on this show.
Yeah,
We talk about the facts.
Yes.
Yeah, I find it annoying. But like, I also go back to accountability. And I think a lot of times queer people get into that. Like, we support these people, like Flashman Wade. He's not queer, but queer people love Flashman Wade, love supporting him.
We are sharing
Looking
the
at
brain.
his,
It's because of how he looks.
but it's
But
about
it's
how he looks, but
also-
also he presents himself. He makes all these like fake videos with him and a bunch of other men
Yeah.
at a car wash in white underwear doing
Yeah.
things. But like that, as far as what he's communicated, he's not a queer person.
Right.
And then, but like we
Right.
we can't, like we're past.
Didn't he do a video with Raheem?
Shabazz?
Yeah, he did like that.
Yeah, Shabazz.
Back pool shower thing. So like,
And that's a very queer environment.
right, and we allow these people
Absolutely.
in these spaces to do it. We spend our money supporting it. So like then it gets to that point for me where
Because
we're spending our money.
fetishization of that too.
Exactly. So then
Yeah.
like it's hard to criticize the people outside of the community for taking advantage of something we are
Got
supporting.
shit in our own backyard.
You got shit in your own backyard that you need to clean up first before you over in the neighbor's yard talking about this shit.
Absolutely.
This analogy's going off.
Jordan, what do you think?
So I have a two-part answer.
Oh,
so the
she
first
turned it to Tony. We're gonna be
No,
here all
no,
night.
no, no. It's going to be brief. It's going to be concise and pointed. The first part is agreeing with you guys. Like, I absolutely do not agree with these influencers and these public figures that are going out and they are purposely doing things that indicate that they're a part of the queer community whilst being outside of the queer community. I think that is just like
icky.
It's very icky. I don't like it. It's just like, no, like that's not the move. But I do want to make a very I want to make a note that I actually am okay with the influencers who are doing gay-ish things with their friends while also telling people that they're straight. Like if you I feel like, and I talked about this earlier in the episode, I feel like there is this societal expectation that men cannot be intimate with one another and not in a non-sexual way.
Yeah.
But like when I see you guys, I hug you and give you a kiss. If a straight guy do that, it does not mean that he's gay.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you want to be on social media and you want to like make a joke and grab your friend's butt, or like when you greet somebody, you want to give them a hug and a peck on the cheek or something, like I am completely for that. Like, and I want people to be able to feel like they can have that level of freedom to be able to express their love for other humans without, you know, getting into this icky space of like, am I gay fishing? It's like,
you're absolutely right, because this is why I want people
not
to
unless you're misleading.
I want people to go read that article. I'm gonna repeat it. It's the New York Times article called Everyone is Gay on TikTok, because they go into the notion that Gen Z, these guys that are doing this, is like they're basically like parodying or like going against the idea that the fact that they're engaging in this, like they're saying if you have an issue with this is your problem,
right,
and not ours. And it's putting people that aren't used to that in an uncomfortable space when they're like so what if I am gay, who cares,
right?
And it's just it's an evolution, it's an evolved place.
I was having a conversation with a straight cis male friend of mine, and we were talking about gay clubs, and I was like, oh, you should come. I was like, you should come with me one time. And he was just like, well, I don't know, because I feel like I would be uncomfortable if a guy hit on me. And I said, why? He said, oh, I just wouldn't. I was just like, well, wouldn't you just say thank you, but I have a wife, that's not my thing. In the same way that if I went to a straight club and a woman hit on me, and I just be like, not really my thing, but thank you, I feel very flattered.
Right.
I was just like, you see the difference in
Thanks, girl.
Right. Thanks,
no,
sis.
thanks, ma.
Thanks, sis. But like the reaction is different when you think about men hitting on other men versus a woman or whomever hitting on like someone like in a straight environment.
They feel like their masculinity is threatened.
Exactly. And I'm just like, if a guy thinks you're handsome, he just thinks you're handsome.
And take that as a compliment.
It's a compliment.
Because if a gay guy calls you handsome,
Right.
it's different.
You
It's
look
different
good,
than
nigga.
when a girl does it.
Right.
No shade.
Yeah.
But y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all don't hear me though.
Y'all don't want to hear that. I'm just like, and even if I do, even if I am attracted to you, that ain't gonna make you any gayer.
It's not gonna make you any gayer unless you are.
Unless you are, and you're also
But nobody wants to talk about that.
Who's doing the outro?
All right.
Get us out of here.
Well, that's all the time that we have this week. We're going to talk about that part in the future. This season of Surface Level is produced in partnership with Moby, Mobilizing Our Brothers Initiative. If you enjoyed this episode, let's keep the conversation going. Let us know your thoughts and questions at surfacelevelpodcast.com. And remember, stay curious.